Hello and welcome to Mary Makes. I'm Mary and today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet these pudgy penguins. Look at how cute they are. When I was designing this pattern for Pudgy Penguin, I wanted to stay as true as possible to the iconic penguin. And so you'll notice we have some cute little hair tufts here, which I'll show you how to do. And the shaping on this penguin is just magnificent. It took me a lot of tries and a lot of tests to get it just right, but you're not going to have to do anything with these color changes, but you will have to tidy up some of the color changes up here, and I'll show you how to do that as well. This video is sponsored by Pudgy Penguins. Follow at Pudgy Penguins Official on YouTube and at Pudgy Penguins on Instagram for your wholesome and relatable penguin content. As always, crocheting brings me a lot of joy, and I want to share that joy with all of you, which is why I make all of my crochet patterns into these free video tutorials on YouTube. With that said, I just want to put in a quick plug for the paid PDF of this pattern. If you would like to support my art, please purchase this pattern in my shop. It has step-by-step pictures for all of the steps you need to be able to make your own Pudgy Penguin. Obviously, it's in color. I just printed it out in black and white. So yeah, link is in the description. Okay, let's do it. This Pudgy Penguin pattern is a beginner to intermediate crochet pattern. I think it would be best if you already knew how to hold your yarn and form some basic stitches before going into this pattern, because we'll be doing a lot of color changing here, and I'll walk you through how to do that. We'll be crocheting each of the parts individually, so the wings, the beak, the feet, and sewing them onto the Pudgy Penguin. And finally, we'll be using the chain loop method to add this little tuft of hair here. And to finish it off, we will be tidying up the color changes with some extra white yarn. So on this side, like this little like blue speck poking through, these aren't too bad, but there will be some spots along the widow's peak here that we'll want to tidy up, and you can kind of see that here. But yeah, let's get into what materials you need. We're going to be using size 7 jumbo yarn to crochet this Pudgy Penguin. So we're going to need Sweet Snuggles chenille yarn. You can also use Parfait XL. You can tell it's a size 7 jumbo yarn if the yarn label says 7 in this like yarn ball image. I'm using Sweet Snuggles in white and sky blue today because I think I'm going to make another blue penguin. If you want to make the pink penguin, purchase Sweet Snuggles in just pink, and it's like the perfect color. You'll also want some yellow yarn for the beak and feet. Oh, and here's how much yarn you'll want for each of these colors. With the blue yarn, you're only going to need like 150 to 175 grams of yarn. So one ball of this, which is 250 grams, is more than enough. For white, you're going to need about 50 to 70 grams of yarn. So this ball will be more than enough here for me today. And with yellow, you don't need that much. You only need like 10 grams of yellow yarn to make the feet and the beak. Next, you'll want to use an appropriate size crochet hook. This yarn does recommend an 11.5 millimeter crochet hook, but I go down to a 10 millimeter crochet hook just so that my stitches are tighter and closer together so the stuffing doesn't fall out. Speaking of stuffing, you're going to need stuffing as well. I use polyester fiber fill stuffing. You can pick that up at your local craft store. You'll also need 20 millimeter safety eyes. So here, these are the eyes I use over here. They have these like backs that go with them, where you'll put the eye on one side of the penguin and then put the back on the other side of the eye to attach it there. And I'll show you what I do to secure the eyes to the plushie better. So optional, If you want to use my method of securing the eyes, you will need 2 little felt squares with a little hole cut in them, as well as a lighter to melt the back post. You'll also need a pair of scissors to cut your yarn. You'll need a yarn needle to sew and thread your ends in, and you'll want a stitch marker so that way you won't lose your spot. All of these items can be picked up at your local craft store. Some of them are available on my Amazon storefront. If you make a purchase there, I do earn a commission. But whew, that's all the materials you're going to need. Let's do it. Okay, sorry, I missed one. You'll want to use some acrylic yarn for the sewing. I actually recommend using acrylic yarn when sewing on the wings and the feet because it's just more secure, and because after you sew it on, you like I sewed this on with acrylic yarn, but because the chenille yarn is so fluffy, like you can't even tell. So it's stronger, more secure. So, if you've got some kids tugging on the wings, it'll do better. So I just use some scrap yarn. It doesn't have to be a perfect match. As long as it's a similar color, you really won't see this yarn at all. Okay, sweet. Now let's get into the body. So first you're going to take your main color. I'm using blue today again, and you're going to make a magic ring. To form the magic ring, you're going to take the dead end of the yarn in your hand and take the live end and form a loop. You want the live end of your yarn to be on top. Take your crochet hook and facing it down to the floor, insert it into the loop and grab your working yarn. Pull it through the loop and twist your hook so it's facing the ceiling. Now you're just going to yarn over and pull through with your to form your magic ring. At this point with chenille yarn, you need to make sure that you are still able to adjust your magic ring. If you're not able to adjust your magic ring at this point, you're going to end up pulling your chenille yarn and snapping it. So see how my loop is still very adjustable? Yeah, that's what we want. So for round number 1, you're just going to make 8 single crochet in the magic ring. So going in, drop a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 1 single crochet. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So there is 8 single crochet in the magic ring, and now you should be able to pull this shut. And I can usually get this pretty tight without breaking the chenille yarn. If you do break it, here, actually, I'm just maybe going to break this on purpose to show you what to do. Oh, say that happens to you and you break your yarn because the magic circle can be hard. What you want to do is take a short length of that regular acrylic worsted weight yarn, thread your yarn needle, and you're just going to go into all of these stitches. And I like to go around the stitches twice if this happens to me. And like, it's not a you thing. Some chenille yarn just works a little better than other chenille yarn. I don't know. I think it depends on the factory, and I don't know who is working that day. So once you thread your acrylic yarn through it, and notice I'm on the back side of my magic ring, you can pull it tight to make sure all your stitches stay together and tie a knot. And then these 2 yarn ends will stay inside the plushie. You don't have to worry about that at all. But yeah, just for demonstrative purposes, that's how you form the magic loop with chenille yarn after breaking it. Oh, and this is going to happen a lot. You're going to get all this fluff everywhere. You're going to want like a lint roller afterwards. Oof. So there's round 1, 8 single crochet in the magic ring. Going on to round number 2, we're going to do 8 increases. An increase is just 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So here's my first increase, 1, Here's my second increase, 2, my third increase, 3, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. So there, you should now have 16 stitches for round number 2. At this point, go ahead and use your stitch marker to mark the end of your round so you know where to end. Going on to round number 3, you're going to do 1 single crochet in the first stitch, followed by an increase in the next stitch. And you're going to repeat that 8 times all the way around for a total of 24 stitches. So 1 single crochet, followed by an increase. Single crochet, single crochet, and increase. And you'll know when to stop when we hit that little stitch marker we have. Right, and here's my 8th single crochet, and I'm going to take my stitch marker out and increase, and put my stitch marker back in. So there is the end of round number 3. You should have 24 stitches in this round. Going on to round number 4, we're going to repeat sort of the same pattern where we're increasing in 8 different places around the circle. You're going to form 2 single crochet, 1 and 2, followed by an increase in the next stitch. You're going to repeat that 8 times all the way around for a total of 32 stitches. So 1, 2, and increase. 1, 2, release. 1, 2, release. Last repeat here, I'm going to take out my stitch marker. Two. All right, put your stitch marker back in. There's the end of round number 4. You should have 32 stitches in this round. Going on to round number 5, this is where we're going to start our color changes. We're going to do this first row here with 3 stitches, 4 stitches in the middle, and then 3 stitches in white. So just the top of that widow's peak. For round number 5, start with 11 single crochets in color A, or blue as I'm using. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And before you finish the 11th stitch, you're going to, when you're forming the 11th stitch, you're going to use your white yarn to finish it off. So I just inserted my hook into the stitch, drew up a loop. Now to complete the color change, I'm going to take my new color, draw it up here, and that completes that stitch. Now what I'm going to do before I go on is I'm just going to tie my white end here to the blue yarn to secure it together. For this row, we're going to, we're going to take our color with us as we crochet. So with the white yarn ready in your hand to work with, you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch and make sure you have your blue yarn at the bottom here to grab, because then your white yarn will go over it and tuck the blue yarn in. So now we're going to form 3 white stitches, 1, 2, and 3. To form the color change now, we're not going to finish off the 3rd white stitch with white yarn. We're going to finish it off with the blue yarn. So now you'll notice I just dropped my white yarn. I'm going to yarn over with my blue yarn and pull it through. So there, now I've got blue on my hook and I'm ready to set up for the next part of this row, which is 4 blue single crochet. So again, with my white yarn along the bottom, there's 1 blue single crochet, 2, 3, and 4. Before I finish the last blue single crochet, I'm going to drop the blue, pick up my white again, yarn over, and pull through. So that completes the 4 blue single crochet, and we have a white loop on our hook. Now you're going to do 3 white single crochet, 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to finish it off with the blue yarn, of course, just like that. At this point here, I like to draw up my next blue loop because it moves this working yarn to like the bottom of the stitch, and this is where I'll cut off my white yarn to tie it off with my blue yarn. So I'm just going to tie a knot there. And now to finish round number 5, we're just going to form 11 single crochet. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Put my stitch marker back in. So there is round number 5 completed. You should still have 32 total stitches, but what you're going to see is 11 blue, 3 white, 4 blue, 3 white, 11 blue. Going on now to round number 6, we're going to start with 10 blue single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and drop a loop. There's my 10th one. I'm going to finish the 10th blue single crochet with my white yarn again. And then I'm going to do the same thing where I tie off my white yarn end here. The white is attached. I'm going to crochet over my blue yarn, so making sure that the blue yarn is there just behind my work. Work 5 white single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5. Now we're going to work 2 blue single crochets. So in that 5th white one, I just drew up my blue loop. Work 2 blue single crochets, 1 and 2. And we're going to finish it off now with your white yarn. There's the 2, finishing it off. Here's my first white stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Draw up my blue loop, and then I'm just going to tie off my white yarn now so that I can secure it to the inside. Right, excellent. So now at this point, you've already done 10 blue, 5 white, 2 blue, 5 more white. Now we've got 10 more blue. So 1, 2, whoops, got my pattern next to me. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and take out your stitch marker, and 10. Put your stitch marker back in. So there is round number 6 completed. That was 10 blue, 5 white, 2 blue, 5 white, followed by 10 blue. So only those 2 rows would I recommend, what's it called? Just like crocheting with both strands of colors. I'm blanking on the name. It's intarsia in knitting, but I don't think we call it that in crochet. Oops. But going forward, we're not going to be pulling our color changes through. We're just going to do 2 like fully cut off color changes each time. So now going on to round 7 through 9, we're going to do 10 single crochet in blue, 12 single crochet in white, followed by 10 more single crochet in blue. So I'll do row 7 with you, and then I'll let you go to do rows 8 and 9. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Change color to white. And I'm going to form a couple stitches. 1, 2 white stitches. Completely tie my yarn ends back here on the inside. And cut off the blue. Now that we've worked 10 blue, we're going to work 12 white. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Change color to blue. I'm going to crochet a couple blue single crochets and then tie off your white yarn back here and cut it off. Finishing off round 7, 1, 2. We got to have 10 blue stitches, so there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, my stitch marker out, and 10. Put my stitch marker back in. So you'll notice at this point you can already see, even with our color changes, we've got some blue poking through. This is what I meant by coming back in at the end with just like some white yarn to cover this up. It really only happens up here on the the right side of the widow's peaks, and it doesn't happen on the left side over here. Like, we don't need to do anything to tidy up these color changes, and then the color changes on the right side I think are just fine the way they are, so we leave those be. But yeah, color changing in crochet, am I right? Anyways, do rounds 8 and 9, which are still 10 blue, 12 white, followed by 10 blue, and I'll meet you back here at the end of round number 9. Okay, so I just finished rounds 8 and round 9, and it looks like this now. We've got more of the penguin's face done, and you'll notice, if you haven't already, that since we've got so many color changes inside of our penguin, there's going to be a lot of this chenille fuzz just fluffing everywhere. Ugh, you'll want to get, I don't know, a vacuum cleaner or a piece of tape or a lint roller later. A quick note before we go on, when you're forming these color changes, I recommend not tying your knots so tight that your stitches like look like they're collapsed in. If you pull your yarn ends too tight as you're tying the dead knot, you'll see even more color poke through than you do already. So just a note there. Continuing on to round number 10, we're going to start with a decrease. A decrease is when we turn 2 stitches into 1 stitch. We're going to do an invisible decrease, which is where we insert our hook into the front loop of our next stitch and then into the next front loop after that. Grab our working yarn, drop a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. So there is our first decrease. Now you're going to do 3 single crochet, 1, 2, and 3, and you're going to repeat that pattern again. So decrease, 3 single crochet. There we go. Decrease, 1, 2, and 3. Now you're going to do a color change. So I didn't finish my third blue stitch, and I'm already drawing up my white yarn here. With your white, now you're going to form a decrease. And before we go on, I'm just going to tie off this color change here. Again, don't tie it too tight or else you'll see your stitches like collapse in. So with white, you'll do 1 decrease, 3 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, a decrease, 3 more single crochet, 1, 2, and 3, and 1 final decrease. So insert your loop hook, drop a loop, and then draw your new color through, your blue color. Finish off that stitch. On this side now, instead of doing the decrease first, followed by the 3 single crochets, now we're going to do 3 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, followed by that decrease. And I'm going to pause here just to tie off my color change. And you're going to repeat this 3 single crochet decrease 1 more time. So 1, 2, and 3. Let me remove my stitch marker. Decrease. And put my stitch marker back in. You should see now that the next stitch you're working into is a decrease. You can tell because you can see these like front loops kind of being drawn up. Just like a way to check, because that's where we started. Here's where we're ending. So yeah, that was round number 10. You should have 25 stitches in this round. Going on to round number 11. In all of these decreases, we're now going to put increases. So in the first stitch, which was a decrease last round, put an increase in here. So 2 single crochet into that stitch. Now we're going to work 3 single crochet. 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to repeat that, the increase 3 single crochet again. So here's the increase. 1, 2, 3. Change colors to white. And now with white, work an increase in this first stitch. And tie off your color change. There we go. Now work 3 white single crochet. 1, 2, 3, followed by another increase, increase, 3 more single crochet, and 1 last increase. And change colors back to blue. Now on this side, we're going to do 3 single crochet followed by an increase, and we're going to do that twice. So 1, 3, increase, tie off this color change. Put it off. And last repeat here, I'm just going to remove my stitch marker. Two, 3, in, and put your stitch marker back in. So there you have round number 10. Because we put increases in each of, sorry, that was round 11 completed. Because we put increases in each of these stitches that were previously decreases, we've just gone from, 32 stitches in the round down to 25 for round number 10, and now we're back up to 32 stitches in the round. Going on to round number 12, we're going to be increasing again in this round. We're going to go from, we have 32 stitches right now. We're going to have 40 stitches by the end of this round. What you're going to do first is you're going to start with an increase and then 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you're going to repeat that again. So increase, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Change colors to white. For the white, it's a little bit different. Start with 1 increase in your white yarn, and let me tie off this white color change. All right, so in white, you'll do increase, 3 single crochet, 1, 2, 3. Now you're going to do an increase, followed by 2 single crochet, 1, 2, followed by another increase, followed by 3 single crochet, 1, 2, and 3, and 1 final increase. Now we're going to change colors here and back to your blue yarn. We're going to work 3 single crochet followed by an, 4 single crochet followed by an increase twice. So there's my 4 single crochet and 1 increase. And I'm just going to tie off this color change again here. Whew, wow. I'm getting all tongue-tied tonight. Okay, repeat that again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and increase in the last stitch. Increase. All right, put it back in your stitch marker, and there it is. That is round number 12 completed. You should have 40 stitches in this round. So I'm going to make my working loop big. At this point, we're going to pause to place the eyes and secure the backs of the eyes. So with the eyes, you want to place them between rows 7 and 8, about 5 to 6 stitches apart. So if you're just looking at your penguin, this is round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we want to stay in this line here. And I just kind of aim for somewhere and see if I like it. I mean, at this point, I feel like I'm just kind of going into this row, but like 2.5 stitch. Like I kind of go into that stitch where the eyes are. This is where you'll want to take the felt backs to put onto your eye backs, or sorry, your eye posts before attaching your eye backs onto the eye. There it snaps. And what I find is that this felt not only keeps the eye from spinning and rotating, but because it's so big, the eye is not going to come outward. Do that to the other eye here. And then the next thing we do as a precaution to keep the eye from falling out is we're going to take our lighter and we're just going to melt down this back post so that it's flat and so that this back post will never come out. I'm just taking my lighter, covering it over my plastic. Obviously be careful, you don't really need to do this for that long, and then take the side of your lighter to squish that plastic down flat like that. And I think I need to melt that a little bit more. Oh yeah, there we go. So now that eye back is never coming out, so the eye, like this is totally secured. It's not coming out. And I'm going to do that to the other eye as well. All right, there we go. Oh, fuzz everywhere. I'll vacuum after this. So now with your eyes secured, we're going to go on to rounds 13 through 15. So for rounds 13, 14, and 15, they're all the same. You're going to work 12 blue single crochet, 16 white single crochet, and another 12 blue single crochet. Go ahead and do that for rounds 13, 14, and 15, and I'll meet you back here at the end of round number 15. All right, I have just completed rounds 13, 14, and 15, and here is how your penguin should look now. It's got that, I don't know, head, neck, and belly forming. Going on to round number 16, you're going to start with 12 single crochet in your blue yarn. So 2, oh, I just came across a factory knot. So with a factory knot, what I usually do is I just form an overhand knot, like away from the factory knot, so that this is tucked away in the plushie. Ugh, hate those. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And I've worked around that factory knot there. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, finishing off the 12th blue stitch with your white yarn. Now we're going to decrease a little bit. You're going to do 1 decrease with your white yarn and then pause to finish off this color change here. All right, now you're going to work 12 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 11, and 12. Finally, you're going to work a decrease in your last 2 white stitches and finish off with your blue yarn. And in your blue now, you're just going to work 12 blue single crochets. I'm going to pause here to finish up that color change. That was 4 blue, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 12. Put my stitch marker back in. So that was round number 16. Because we did these 2 decreases in white on either side of the belly, you should now have 38 stitches in this round. Going on to round number 17, we're going to start with, we're not going to do any decreases this round, so it's just going to be 12 blue, 14 white, followed by 12 blue again. So I'll do it with you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now we're going to change colors to white. Now we're going to do 14 white. So there's like the first 3. Finish off the color change. Oof. So much color changing. So much fluff everywhere. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So there you go. There's the white part finished. Change colors back to the blue and work 12 blue single crochet. I just worked a couple blue stitches. I'm just tying off my color change here again. 2, 4, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So ta-da! There's the end of round 17. You should still have 38 stitches in this round. Going on to round 18, we're going to be doing some more decreases. 6 decreases to be exact, so we'll have 32 total stitches in this next round. Starting with this side of the blue, we're going to do 1 decrease. There's my decrease, followed by 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're going to do that again. So another decrease. Oh my gosh, another factory knot? Who made this ball of yarn? At least with amigurumi, all of that gets tucked away inside. So there's my decrease. 2 and 1, 2, 3, and 4. Change colors to white. Now we're going to do a decrease for our first white stitch, just like that. I'm going to pause to tie off this color. So we have a decrease. Now we're going to work 10 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10. Finally, we're going to work our last decrease here and finish off that decrease with your color change. And this is our last color change for this penguin. So, phew, we made it. That really was like a lot of color changes. So once you finish off this color change, cut off your white yarn. You can set that aside now. Now in your blue yarn, you're going to do the opposite of what we did on this side. So on this side, it was decrease 4 single crochet. Now we're doing 4 single crochet followed by a decrease, and we're doing that twice. So 1, 2, 3, 4, decrease, and 1, 2, 3, 4, stitch marker, and decrease. And that ends round number 18. You should have 32 stitches in round number 18. Going on to round number 19, now we're just working with our blue yarn and we're just going to be doing decreases, or not just decreases. You're going to do 2 single crochet followed by a decrease, and you're going to repeat that 8 times all the way around so that you have a total of 24 stitches in this round. 1, 2, 1, 2, decrease. And 3, 2, 1, decrease. And finally, last repeat, 1, 2, and decrease. So there is round 19 completed. You should have 24 stitches in this round. So at this point, I would recommend beginning to stuff. So take your stuffing, and you want to, when you're stuffing like plushies like this, my biggest tip when stuffing is on the inside of your plushie, take your hand and like starfish your hand, spread it out so that you almost make like a flat layer. I find that stuffing my big plushies or my jumbo chenille plushies like this, where I try to get to the stuffing to lay against the what's it called, the yarn, it makes it just like a smoother stuffing. So that's like, this is like the motion that I'm doing inside of the penguin plushie, is just separating my stuffing like that. Stuff and smooth it out. Smooth it out. I find that I end up using like anywhere from like 12 to 14 ounces of stuffing, almost a pound. Actually, maybe a little less than that. I think this penguin weighs like just under a pound. And I like my penguins a little firm. So, if you want yours squishier, put in less stuffing. If you want it firmer like I do, put in more stuffing. And if you have any of your scrap yarn, stuff it in there too. Okay, I'm not going to stuff this all the way because I'm going to work one more round and then I'll stuff it a little bit more and then finally finish off. So going on to round number 20, what we're going to do is we're going to do one single crochet followed by a decrease, and you're going to repeat that 8 times all the way around, and you'll end with 16 stitches in this round. So one single crochet and decrease. One single crochet. I hope this project is going pretty fast for you. It's really fun. I think working with jumbo yarn, it works up obviously a lot faster. It makes a bigger plushie. There's just like more immediate gratification when making bigger things, I think. And then also I designed this pattern to be like kind of simple. Well, really simple so that you could make penguins relatively fast. All right, so now that I've done some decreases, I'm gonna put more stuffing in this penguin's belly. Oh. And you all probably know I have my own shop where I sell my plushies, and I go through stuffing so freaking fast that I just carry around like the 10-pound bag of stuffing. I used to crochet more smaller plushies to sell and stuff. And I would take my 10-pound bags then and like divide it into a bunch of smaller bags, you know? But now I just go through the 10-pound bags so fast, making big plushies that I just carry that 10-pound bag around to the living room, to the couch and TV room, back to the craft room. Yeah. Okay, so I'm still spreading out the stuffing. I'm using one hand on the outside of my plushie to make sure it's like smooth. I don't feel any lumpy spots, and one hand on the inside to evenly distribute as much as possible. Okay, so here's our final row. Don't worry, you're still going to be able to add more stuffing. But for round number 21, we're just going to work 8 decreases. So 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh. I find that the last rows are always tricky, so take your time when you're doing this. Here's my 4th decrease, 5th, 6th. Oh, you'll also notice that whenever I get to this part, I usually change my crochet hook grip from pencil grip to knife grip or caveman grip, just so I have a little more leverage. And here's my last decrease. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut off, leaving a bit of a tail for sewing, and I'm just going to pull this through. There we go. I've still got a little hole here, so this is your last chance to add any more stuffing that you want to add to your penguin. All right. I'm thinking my penguin is pretty close to good. I felt a soft spot there, a little bit of soft spot there. Okay. And once you're happy with like the squish of your penguin, just like, I don't know, squish him down. Yeah, I like that level of squish. Ooh, oops, I squished him. Okay. So once you're happy, now we're going to close this up. Take your yarn end, thread your needle. All you have to do to thread it, take your end, use the needle to press it, squish it down, and then use your 2 fingers to just maneuver it through the eye of the needle. Close this shut, take your needle and grab the front loop of the first of each stitch going around all 8 stitches. So that was 3 stitches, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now it acts as a drawstring. Pull that closed, and don't pull it so tight that you snap this yarn, or else again you'll have to take your acrylic worsted weight yarn and manually close it up. What I like to do before I close it up though is I like to just thread my needle through a couple more, just to, I don't know, I think it gives me like peace of mind or something, just to secure it a little bit more. And now at this point, I'm going to tie a knot like right here-ish, not like directly next to the plushie, but just close enough to the edge here, and I'll make it kind of a big knot so that when I dig my yarn needle back into the plush, this knot is going to go inside. Ooh, just like so. And now that knot should not be able to go through all of those loops we just threaded the yarn through. And then you can just bury this tail into the plushie. Woohoo! So there is the penguin body completed. Ooh, wow. Okay, so next we're going to make the beak. Take your yellow yarn, form the magic ring, and in the magic ring, you're just going to work 4 single crochet. So, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Go ahead and pull it shut, the magic ring. And to close this off, you're just going to work a slip stitch. To work a slip stitch, insert your hook into the next stitch, draw up a loop, and then just pull that loop immediately through. And then I just like pull on the yarn to tighten it, and then cut off, leaving a bit of a tail for sewing. You don't need very much, maybe about, I don't know, 6 to 8 inches. And then pull this yarn through. You're going to want to pop your beak out like this so that this is the outside of your beak. While we're here, let's go ahead and sew the beak on. So you have 2 ends, the end that we used to close the magic circle shut, and then the end that we were just crocheting with. Take the end that was just used to sew the magic, or to pull the magic circle shut, and thread your needle. What we're going to do is we're going to use this to help position our our beak. We want to place our beak in the middle of these 2 blue stitches, but down, like, here's the 2 blue stitches, here's 2 white stitches. In between those 2 white stitches is the top of our beak. So since this, where my needle is going to be the top, I'm going to put this yellow yarn in 1 row below that and just let it come out somewhere else. This is just to help me hold the beak where I want it while I sew it on. Since the beak has 4 stitches on it, we're going to need 4 holes that we can work in. The hole that's between the 2 white stitches is our first one. This one over here is one of the next stitches. The one on the opposite side is one of the next stitches we'll work into, and then the one here on the bottom. So I'm going to start on the bottom, and I'm just going to pull my needle through from the bottom to the next stitch, and like it kind of forms a square, you know? And then I'm going to use my needle to grab the first stitch of the beak, oh, all this fluff, and pull that tight. Then I'm going to do it the same going up now. Grab the next stitch, one more here, grab the third stitch, and finally back down to the bottom stitch, grabbing the last stitch of the beak. And then I usually just like to come out the next stitch just to double check everything looks good. Once you like it, I like to just go back into the beak and then out the hole where the other yellow yarn end is, because now we're going to tie these two together to secure them and tuck these two ends inside. So I just use like the back of my yarn needle to like shove the yarn end into the plushie. All right, so there is the beak attached. Now let's go on to the wings. I did already crochet one wing here, and I'll show you how to crochet the second wing. There's my blue yarn. Taking your blue yarn, make the magic ring again. Can't get away from the magic ring. It's everywhere. For round number 1 of the ring, go ahead and make 4 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Go ahead and pull this tight. You should have 4 single crochet in round number 1. Going on to round number 2, you're going to work 1 single crochet followed by an increase, and you're going to do that twice. There was my first one, or first increase. Here's my second one, 1 single crochet and increase. So now you should have 6 stitches in round number 2. Go ahead and pop this out. For round number 3, you're going to do 1 single crochet, increase 3 times so that you get a total of 9 stitches. If it helps you, go ahead and place your stitch marker in this stitch now. So 1 single crochet, increase. That's our first time. Here's our second time. 1 single crochet, increase, and then here's our third repeat. 1 single crochet, and here we are back at the stitch marker, increase. So now you have 9 single crochets in this round. Going on to round number 4 and round number 5, you're just going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. So I put my stitch marker back in here. We're just going to make 9 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. And now we're going to do that one more time. I'm going to skip using the stitch marker because I'm just counting it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So there is round number 5 completed. So if you need to count 2, you can see here's the bottom where you did round number 1, round number 2 on top of that, 3, 4, and 5. The last round of the wing is round number 6, and we're going to do 1 single crochet followed by a decrease, and you're going to do that 3 times. So here's the second time, 1 single crochet, decrease, and here's the third time, 1 single crochet and decrease. Finally, we're going to just finish off with a slip stitch, fasten it off, and I wouldn't leave a long tail here. I'm actually just going to cut like, I don't know, a 1-inch tail. And I'm just going to tuck this inside because with the wing, like I said at the beginning of this video, we want to be using our acrylic yarn to sew this to the body instead of how we did the beak. The beak is just so small, you know, with only 4 stitches that it really just is easier to sew the beak on using the chenille jumbo yarn. But with the wings, we can use the acrylic. All right, so make your 2 wings and let's sew them together. Take a length of your acrylic yarn here. I'm being pretty generous. I think I gave myself like, I don't know, 15 inches of yarn. Oh, way more than that. I gave myself like 2 feet. You probably don't need that much, but that's okay. Thread your yarn needle. The wings are placed on either side of the body between rounds 11 and 12. So you can sit here and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And, or, you know, my shortcut is I just remember the eyes were placed between round 7 and 8. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And I just know to sew the wings here. There are 6 stitches in the wing, so we just need to find 6 holes that we want to work into. So since this is my round 11 and 12, these 3 holes here, and then these 3 holes here are the 3 that I want to work in. It's just 1 blue stitch away from the white, and then just like the grid of 6. So I'm just going to thread my needle into the first stitch, grab one of my wing stitches, and then go to the next stitch. Do it again. So there's the top 3 of your 6 stitches. And now going to the bottom 3, here's how I sew the wing on like that. Okay, so there it is. Go ahead and tug on your acrylic yarn gently, or sorry, your regular worsted weight yarn. Probably acrylic. I feel like most worsted weight yarn is acrylic. And then when you tie it, you'll like you probably just saw it like tightened. Tie a second knot for a dead knot, and then I just tuck these yarn ends right into the penguin. So go back down the hole you're coming out of, come out somewhere else, and bury the end in there. Go ahead and do the same with the other wing. I'll leave you to it and I'll meet you back here for the feet. All right, I just sewed on my second wing and here's how it's looking. With your feet, take your yellow yarn and go ahead and make your magic ring again. For round 1 of the feet, you're going to do 5 single crochet into the magic ring. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pull the magic ring shut. For round number 2, we're going to do 5 increases for a total of 10 single crochets in this round. So, increase, second increase, third increase, fourth, and fifth. So there's round number 2. Going on to round number 3, you're going to work 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4, followed by a decrease, decrease, and then 4 more single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there's round number 3 complete. Go ahead and slip stitch and fasten off. No need to leave a tail for sewing because we're going to be using regular size 4 yarn to be sewing the feet on. Go ahead and make 2 of these little feet. I've already got my 2 feet made here. So now, instead of using blue yarn, I'm actually going to use white yarn to sew the feet on since it's going to be partially on the body. Like before, cut yourself 2 lengths of white yarn. 2 feet will be more than enough to work with. Probably only need like, I don't know, a foot. You thread your yarn needle, and then the feet are placed on the 2 bottom corners of the white. We just go right on top of it. It is between round 16 and 20. So using the eyes, 7, 8, 9, 10, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, 18. I miscounted that because this was round 21. Sorry, 21, 20, 19, 18. Yeah, it is 18. So between rounds 16 and 18, you're going to sew the feet on here. I just take my yarn here and I pull it through a little bit, leaving myself a tail. I'll grab one of the stitches on my foot and then go out the next row up. Just keep in mind that you have 9 stitches to sew. So I just aim to make like kind of like a 9 square, like 3 up here, down the side, over to the other side, like just 9 stitches in a circle. 2, yeah. And then up 1 more. And then you'll just want to pull your yarn tight periodically as you sew your foot onto your penguin. All right, and now I'm back to the last hole where my yarn was coming up and my last stitch. Go ahead and pull on the yarn ends just to make sure it is tightly secured to your plushie. I'm just going to thread my yarn in one more time and come out the same hole as my beginning tail. I'm going to tie a knot here and then secure it. And now I'm going to tuck these yarn ends in. I'll go ahead and stay on camera while I sew on the second foot with you. But let me just get this yarn end all tucked in there. Boom. There we go. Side. Now onto the second foot. Thread your yarn needle. Just like this side, I'm just on this bottom blue row. I'm just going to thread my yarn through like that. I'm going to come out through the stitch in my foot. And I'm just going to work in as best of a circular pattern as possible to keep the foot symmetrical with the other foot. You may want to use pins to help you pin down exactly where you want to place your foot. I think I'm okay with just eyeballing it. And I've made like so many penguins that I have a really good idea of where I want the foot to go now. Right, so there's the second foot attached. Pull your yarn tight so that you can feel it tighten. Wow, that was redundant. Go ahead and get your yarn ends together so that you can secure a knot and tuck in your yarn ends into the plushie. So there is the penguin body with all of the wings and feet attached. Yay, we're almost done. Just 2 more things we gotta do. The first thing is going to be the hair. So now to work the hair, you're going to take your blue chenille yarn, leave yourself maybe like, I don't know, 5 inches of yarn, tie a slip knot, just a regular old slip knot, put it on your hook. Where you have these 2 blue stitches in between the widow's peak, you're going to go up to where you have the 4 stitches of the widow's peak, and in the center, these 2, you're going to go into this hole and out this hole with your yarn hook, and you're going to grab your yarn like this and pull it through. So now you have 2 loops on your hook, and then take that first loop and pull it through the other loop. So now we've just attached the yarn to the penguin forehead with the slip stitch method. Now we're going to make some chain loops. You're just going to work 3 chains. So 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to do that again, where we're going to go up a row, insert your hook, draw up a loop, and then slip stitch that loop through your existing one. And then I like to do this like, I don't know, pull the yarn tight so that it feels more snug to the head. Go ahead and now work 3 more single crochet, 3 more chains. 1, 2, 3. And then now we're going to do the slip stitch into the head one more time. Insert your hook, grab your yarn, pull it through the penguin head, and pull it through your the loop that was on your hook. Now I'm going to cut off, leaving a bit of a tail, and I'm just going to chain this shut. So I'm just going to yarn over and pull it through to end the hair, and that secures it to the forehead with your yarn ends. I just take the front one, I tuck it in to the hole it's coming out of, and come out to the other hole with the other end, and I just, tie another knot with this one, and then we're going to tuck this knot inside of the penguin's head. Whew. So just like that with one end, get the other end in there as well. Okay. And there we have the penguin hair. Oof, okay. Wow. There's your penguin. At this point, all of the crocheting is done. All the sewing is done. We've even added the hair. This last bit is just stylistic. So what you're going to want to do is take your white yarn and cut yourself a length, I don't know, it doesn't have to be too long. I only need like, what's this, 15 inches of yarn. thread your yarn needle. All we're going to do is we're going to tidy up this glaring color change here to make sure that's all showing as white, and a little bit over here as well. But everything else about our color changes is pretty tidy, so we don't have to fix those. To tidy up the foreheads of the penguin's widow's peak, I come in here to the 3 white stitches first, and I thread my needle through 2.5 of those stitches, just like that, so that I'm coming out through the center of that stitch. This way my white yarn is here to cover up the blue part. The key to keeping your penguin looking natural is to keep your yarn underneath the stitches. So now there's like this white front loop here that I'm going to go underneath. And then now I'm going to go underneath this next white stitch, the V part of the stitch. Then you might have to maneuver your yarn over so it covers up that blue better, just like that. There's one more white front loop here, tuck under. Oh, all this fluff everywhere. Nile yarn, am I right? All right. And now I'm just going to go across here, across those two. So now we have no more blue showing through here. We very subtly just like, I call it just tidying up your color changes. We're going to do this again for this side, and I'm just threading my yarn through. I'm going to come out this stitch here. Oh, maybe I should have left myself a longer tail. Okay, don't need too much yarn, but actually maybe give yourself 2 feet. And again, I'm going to work underneath the white yarn just so that this stays under there. And then finally I'm coming out underneath those 3 stitches. Okay, and there we go. Normally I would take this yarn end and weave it back to this end and tie it off and tuck it in, but I didn't leave myself a long enough end, so I'm actually going to take this tail and navigate it to the other end. Every time you thread your yarn needle, fluff everywhere. Okay, there we go. And now with my 2 white yarn ends together, all I'm going to do is tie a knot and tuck it inside. There we go. All right. Whew. Clean up the excess fluff that's everywhere. That is your Pudgy Penguin. Look at how cute this is. Look at those little wings. Look at these little feet. Ah, this is definitely just, in my opinion, the best penguin pattern out there. It does involve a lot more sewing. I know there's like a lot of no-sew penguins where the body just like is a bubble, or you didn't do that many color changes, but I really think I contributed a piece to crochet literature. I hope so. I hope you think so. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed making this penguin. And we'd love to see your Pudgy penguins on Instagram. Tag me, mary.marymakes, and tag Pudgy penguins on Instagram. Yee! If you made it this far in the video, congratulations on a job well done. Thank you so much for following on this crochet along. Remember to like and subscribe for more crochet tutorials, and to follow Pudgy Penguins on YouTube and Instagram for the wholesome penguin content. Thank you so much for crocheting with me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!